So we have these show and tell nights at Mike's, and that's been the thing we've been doing for the last couple of years, and they've been awesome.
That sounds like one of the coolest traditions I think I've ever heard.
No,
That tops everything.
you're way more interesting than we are.
Hi, I'm Nicole with As Seen on Screen. It's great to be chatting with you both today. Thank you so much for sharing your time with me.
Nice to
Oh,
meet you,
thank
Nicole.
you.
David, I wanted to start out with discussing your character Harris because to me, he ironically had some of the funniest scenes in the show in some ways. The Father's Day feast in the third episode is one of my favorites because the seriousness the family took in referring to Harris as the king, wrapping you in that gingham tablecloth, the best present contest, it's something that I feel like the average family would maybe not find traditional. But when you first read the script, was there a specific scene or episode you were most excited to film?
Now, you're the first one who said there was something funny about this, and I'm happy to hear you say that. Um, I think it's one of the things that I like about being able to play Harris is he really desires all that attention. And at the same time, he's actually kind of embarrassed by it. And it's a nice quality to have, to be embarrassed by it and desiring of it. Um, and there's a few moments in there like that, because we get to see the harsher sides of him quite a bit. But those are the things that I look forward to.
And if I could just interject, one of the beautiful things that David did with Harris is create that toxic thing where when Harris smiles and laughs and is having a good time, you do too. And then you're able to, so like, I remember watching those scenes and going, look at this guy, he's fantastic, he's warm, he's the patriarch, he's lovely. And then you're able to flip it. And that's kind of like, those are the best kind of, I don't want to call you an antagonist, but when you like them and when they are easy to like, it makes it far more conflicting.
I agree. I think that's something everyone in this cast did so well, and there's so many characters that you just feel compelled to love, even when you're seeing them act this way to the people that they love, and maybe not the best ways. So I think that's a sign of such strong performances from everyone in this cast.
Oh,
Thank you.
thank you.
Now, with Ed, one of the character traits that I think Rahul you portrayed perfectly is his boundless love for Carrie. Because when I read the novel, it is so clear that Ed's willing to put up in all the ways in which Harris may be treating him and this family because he's with Carrie. And in the show, I had that same feeling about Ed with the goodness in his heart and the love he had for the people around him. So I'm curious to know for you, what personality traits and qualities of Ed do you most admire?
I what I wish I had more that Ed has is this I not being reactionary, being able to understand the situation he's in, and that he loves Carrie so much that he is able to deal with the microaggressions and I've never been able to kind of see the, I don't know the expression, the woods for the trees or whatever. I've never been able to see the greater good. I always mess things up by reacting in the moment and not thinking about how that affects the people I care about when I think I'm doing the right thing. And I think that quality that Ed has is super admirable. But I also understand from the Gap perspective that it's infuriating to watch a man be bullied and prodded and poked, and to kind of not rock the status quo at the same time. There's a burn it all down attitude that I relate to with Gap more, but it's still admirable nonetheless.
Absolutely. And I think too there's a line actually that I wrote down that really stuck with me from episode 3 when Ed is speaking to Gat and he says, "My greatest character flaw is being the hero." And I think there's so many points in this season that we see Ed really come to the rescue and be by the side of his family. So I think that is so evident throughout that character as well.
Awesome, thank you. Yeah, definitely. There is that's not necessarily always a positive, the hero complex, and it can be quite damaging. But yeah, we're fortunate to have been given all characters that have nuance and aren't just, straight black and white binary concepts of good, bad, and things like that.
Absolutely. David, there's a moment that I wanted to speak with you about when I don't want to give anything away. So I'll say Harris picks up a piece of jewelry that we see throughout the season in his bedroom, and he kind of stares at it before grabbing his glasses and continuing on with what he's doing with his day. And I feel like it was a quality that for a second it made him seem mortal, a word that we hear Cadence use a lot. Um, because for a moment there, we're seeing this human side that Harris has, and he's reflecting. It almost feels like a reflective human side. So for you, playing this character, how was that balance of showing this like patriarchal figure who always had a need to present himself with perfection, but then also having these subtle nods and moments where we do see that even behind all of those walls, Harris is also still human at the end of the day, too.
That moment that you're talking about when he picks up the necklace, that wasn't actually in the script. I asked if they would put that in there. There was something else that I was doing in that scene. I just felt like so much was made of that even with my wife in the early scenes when she's wearing it, I tell her how much I love it. And there's a history that goes with that doesn't get talked a lot about in the season, in the script, that I know about. And he's very vulnerable because of that. And when the daughters are fighting over it and all of that, it's so hurtful to him that they're doing that. So thank you for noticing it. But it's in a moment that I felt was important to Harris.
I agree. That was one of the moments that really stuck with me for Harris's character, so I'm really glad that was in the show.
Yeah, thank you.
I want to talk a little bit about tradition and structure because obviously with the Sinclairs, that is one of the biggest part of their life. And one of the maybe most outrageous Beechwood traditions was the lemon hunt. It was so funny watching that episode. So I want to ask for both of you, what are some fun traditions maybe in your own life that you maybe none as outrageous as a lemon hunt, but do you have any traditions in your own life that you take joy in taking part in?
Traditions.
Yeah, well, we definitely do have traditions. We definitely do not have a lemon hunt in our family. But I think traditions are they can be carried away with in a family, but I also do think they're important to families. And I know our children definitely feel that way. Places that we go to in the summer, things that we do at holidays, whatever it is, they're uh, they're a celebration of our family and the love we have for each other.
What ours was, I was difficult to be made to do anything with my family. I always was just rebellious for the sake of being rebellious. But in recent years, the new tradition that I found is with my new family in LA. We do these movie nights at Mike Flanagan's place, and he puts on classic horrors we should watch or whatever, and we've all started to do our own screenings of them. And what you do is you choose the movie, the group chat goes out, that's the film we're watching, and then it's on that person to then write a 10-minute speech and intro, and we do that sometimes in costume, and it's a themed night. And then so we have these show and tell nights at Mike's, and that's been the thing we've been doing for the last couple of years, and they've been awesome.
That sounds like one of the coolest traditions I think I've ever heard.
No,
That tops everything.
you're way more interesting than we are.
I love that. Well, I can't finish this conversation off without asking about your experience filming in Nova Scotia because I'm Canadian myself. I'm from Toronto, but I wanted to know what was your favorite memories from spending time in the province of Nova Scotia last summer? Because even just in the show, it looks gorgeous from obviously where you were.
Well, I since I was a kid, I've always had this fascination with the Titanic. This is before the movie came out. It's been something that my father took me to the museums in the UK. And when I got to Nova Scotia, I found out very quickly that Nova Scotia has a very intimate relationship with that tragedy. And they have a museum there. And they also, when James Cameron was there, that was their HQ base. So a lot of our crew worked on the original Titanic, and they would take the boat out to the wreckage with the cast for the kind of modern day scenes. So being that close to that and visiting the museums and stuff for me as a history buff was was awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, for me, Nova Scotia had been part of our family's life for generations. Grew up in Massachusetts, and we had ancient family members who were loyalists during the Revolutionary War, who left Massachusetts, who went up to Nova Scotia, and others who had come the other way through Nova Scotia. And in the 70s, when I was doing theater in Boston, I had no money, but I hitchhiked from Massachusetts took the ferry from Bangor, slept on it overnight, and then hitchhiked around Nova Scotia looking for family members.
Oh, wow.
So I've always felt connected to there, and to be able to spend 5 months up there on the coast, it was just great for me. You know, a certain way I feel at home there, and the people were fantastic that we spent time with there. So it was a great summer.
Yeah.
That's an incredible story. Wow. Amazing. Well, I know we're running out of time here, but so I will just say thank you so much for sharing your time with me. I appreciate the opportunity to speak with both of you, and congratulations on the show's release next week.
Well, thank you very much.
Appreciate it.